studying for my Series 7 that I actually started learning. I'm not going to hit $1 million by saving it. I'm not making that much money. Even if I make $100,000 from 22 to, I got to pay taxes, I won't hit that $1 million threshold in 8 years unless I become an investor, unless I figure this out. So saving enough is not sufficient. I learned that early on. So I knew I had to figure out how to make sure that my money was working for me, whether I was awake or asleep. And that's what I started doing. I started focusing on learning how to invest in the stock market, how to be a
Starting right.
investor, how to not chase returns. And I figured it out. It took me through trial and error. It took me getting burned a few times. It took me chasing technology mutual funds when the dot-com bubble burst to figure out, like, you don't buy something after it's gone up 50, 60, 70, 80, 100%. You don't jump in then. You listen to Warren Buffett when he says, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. So it took me some time to figure that out. And once I figured that out, I got it. It clicked. And we're all a product of our environment, our circumstances, right? So real estate for me came about because we all have that, like, that auntie, that cousin, that grandma, someone we know has sold a property and then they put a gentrify, right? So we're finished. That happened to me with my mom. She sold her house, her childhood house, and I remember telling her in my first year of college, don't sell the house. I got a good feeling about this neighborhood. It's rough now, but I think that this neighborhood will change. She sold that house in '98 for, I think, like 35 to 40,000 within 10 years in annual conditions worth about $500,000. And I remember thinking, Karen, I remember thinking that will never ever happen to me. That will never happen. I mean, that was a legacy. That was my mom's retirement. That was money that could have been in our bloodline forever. And I remember thinking, it is revenge season. That will never happen. So I wanted to get into real estate specifically because my mom sold that house, and I knew she shouldn't have. And again, I was an avid reader as a kid. I think it was Toni Morrison in one of her books that talked about the importance of. She wasn't talking about it as a real estate investor. She was it was a story, a novel. And she said something like, people always need a place to live and a place to die. And I remember thinking that, like, both require land, right? Both you need some space. So real estate has always been something that I had my eye on, my own experiences in watching wealth get taken away from my bloodline because of an early sale. I said, I ain't going out like that. So I started aggressively buying real estate simply because I know the power of real estate, owning land and owning buildings.
866-801-8255. Excuse me. Revenge season. I like that. Not from a hateful place, but from a place of love. Like, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. I'm going to take this energy and turn it into something positive, which has really benefited your bloodline. 866-801-8255. Aisha is here. Aisha Selden. You can follow her at Aisha Selden, and of course, she's mud2, the number 2millions.com, mud2millions.com, and her book, 7-Step Wealth Cheat Codes. 7 steps, right? You have 7 steps. There is a cheat code when you come in, and I feel like, many of us need to be like the spook who sat by the door. That book. When we come into corporate America, but a lot of us want to be the magical Negro, the only one, right? The only one. We want to please massa instead of learning everything we can from what we get on the inside and then give it to everybody else on the out, in our community. What was the first thing you learned that was like an aha, like, oh my God, I can't believe I never knew this when you got into corporate America trading stocks?
That there's more of a science behind it than there is a gamble. I think that when most people approach the stock market, they approach it like they do the lottery. I think I mentioned in the Isn't Her Money podcast, when people think, they literally approach stock like they do the roulette wheel or the craps table. It's not a casino. There's actual fundamentals of a company that you need to digest and learn before you just throw your money there. And it's interesting, Karen, because if I were to ask the average person, how do you make money in a stock, right? It's actually fairly simple. I buy it low, I sell it high. It's really not that complicated. I buy a stock at a current value, and I sell it at a future date at a higher value, right? But one of the things I learned being a new broker is when it comes to our own emotions and our behaviors, behavioral finance psychology is an extremely fascinating study that when it comes down to our own money, we actually tend to do the exact opposite. Tesla stock is a really good example, right? In the last 12 months, it's up about 500%. watched Tesla run up 500% and then thought, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy that, right? And then they just got snubbed by the S&P 500 a couple days ago. They got snubbed by the S&P 500, not included, and then it dropped 20% in one day, the single largest drop. People bought it after it ran up 400 or 500%, and then they sold it the day it dropped 20%, right? So I just said, everybody knows you buy low, you sell high, but when it comes to applying our own money, we do the exact opposite. We buy it after it runs up 500%, and then when it drops 20%, then we sell because we can. So,
we have FOMO. We have FOMO on the upside. We don't want to be left out. So if everybody's jumping in, because we wait for the bandwagon instead of becoming the bandwagon. We wait for the bandwagon. We jump on it. By then it's too late. It's already too late. But we don't want to be left. We're gonna. If Magic's gonna go up, what, 1,000%? That's illogical. But there we go. Human nature. All right, 866-801-8255 is great advice. Let's go to Sylvia in Philly. A lot of people want to talk to you, so we're going to go to Philly first, to your backyard neck of the woods. Sylvia, welcome.
Oh, great. Thanks, Karen. I love your show. Love listening to you. I just wanted to say good afternoon to you, both you and Aisha. I'm so impressed. I have a story to tell you really quick. The book, I have it sitting on my seat. I'm away for the night, driving. I have the book sitting on my seat. Just ordered it. And I happened to work, and I never met Aisha, but I happened to work with her mom, who is a nurse. I'm also a nurse. But it wasn't her mom. It was a coworker who actually told me about the book. And I said, I'm just going to order it to show the book. And then I said, okay, well, I don't read it too, so show support it. Most people reading it. Because again, I think I'm doing fine in these COVID times. Like Aisha made some good investments with real estate. And again, I'm still a nurse. And it's a quick read, it's an easy read, and it's unbelievable. I feel like we're kindred spirits. I said, it's me talking to me. Very impressed. Very impressed.
Thank you so much. And Philly is such a small world. Thank you so much for calling and sharing the story. And yes, my mom has been a temple in labor and delivery, and now in like the baby, and she's been there forever. So if you're working today, tell her I said hi.
Wow.
Yes, I'm also labor and delivery. So, and we have much love for your mom. She's been there for a while. She's smart, she's kind. She's just a kind human being. And Aisha's got to be good people because I know from whence she came now. So I'm just unbelievable. So I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to look up that podcast. I want to hear more. I just want to keep checking you out. So you keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow. Look at that. Unprompted. This is the Karen Upton Show. Our audience is dope. Mud to Millions is the name of the book. Aisha Seldon's 7-Step Wealth Cheat Codes. It's in paperback. We'll tweet it out as well at SXM Urban View, so y'all can get a copy of it. Let's head over to Virginia. Go on down I-95 a little bit. Mark, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? I was listening earlier, and great pointers and great information there. But you mentioned Cardi B, and Aisha said that she appreciates how Cardi B can be herself and know herself. And you responded with, that's because she kind of fit the mold that's expected. And that's kind of how I view it. It's disappointing to me that I've been a rap head forever, right? I've been since I was a kid. I'm 43 years old now. And there was a time that the black woman fought to beat and break the stereotypes in rap music. You listen to the Queen Latifahs and going back to that time. And now it seems like they've just given way to it. And I can't even listen to female rappers because everything they say is, for lack of a better term, ignorant, right? They don't espouse any type of intelligence or anything. And I think
okay, well, I'm going to pause you for a second, Mark, because I'm not disparaging Cardi B. I think there's a place for everybody. I think that for black people, we need to be real careful about how we police other black people's expression. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying two things. Number one, white folk are comfortable with black people in certain positions. That said, I think Cardi B is badass. I think she's a power broker. I think she's a boss. I think that she is charting her own course. I'm not going to disrespect it at all. I'm saying that there are a couple of different ways that we show up in the world that make white folk comfortable. Hell, I may make white folk comfortable until they figure out what's going on when I show up. with my loud way that I express myself and myself. They're used to that, you know. They're used to the certain phenotypes in black women and black men. Doesn't mean that we don't come in and flip the script. Doesn't mean that we don't come in and do the Trojan horse thing, which I am a big fan of. And I think you underestimate Cardi B at your own peril. So I'm not going to let you go down that path because there's a little twinge of misogyny in there as well. So,
Karen,
Mark.
Karen,